Hello everybody, this is Bob here, and welcome to race number 16 of the 2020-21 NROL Skittles Cup Series season. This is the BHP 350 at Winton Motor Raceway. That is right, for the first time since 1988, the NRL is back in Australia. How about that? Or more specifically, the Skittles Cup Series is back in Australia. It's been quite a while, but as a bit of a new thing this year, we have decided to do what is basically the Australian stretch. That is right. For the entirety of this month, we are going to be racing in Australia. First of 5 races for the Cup Series in Australia. And we're kicking it off here at the Winton Motor Raceway. This track, it's quite an interesting track, and then of course we're going road racing and stuff. So anyway, history is assigned. It is time to make history today as the Cup Series takes this track for the first time. So with that being said, let's give you a starting grid for this race. Starting the pool for this one is Kyle Larson. Flying second is Donald. Third is Kurt Busch. Fourth is Bang Coaches. Fifth is Kevin Harvick. Sixth is Tim Tom. Seventh is Bobbin. Eighth is Denny Hamlin. Ninth is Christian Bell. 10th is Preserve. 11th is the Xbox Nerd. 12th is Eric Almirola. 13th is Brad Keselowski. 14th is Eric Jones. 15th is Marshall Sr. 16th is Douglas. 17th is Chase Elliott. 18th is Rebecca. 19th is William Byron. 20th is Doug. 21st is Clint Boyer. 22nd is Max Benedetto. 23rd is Ryan Blaney. 24th is Virgin. 25th is Oliver. 26th is Russell David. 27th is Tyler Reddick. 28th is Deanna. 29th is Chris Buescher. 30th is Alex Mullen. 31st is Kyle Busch. 32nd is Cole Custer. 33rd is Ryan Newman. 34th is Victor Sr. 35th is Joe Logano. 36th is Ryan Priest. 37th is Austin Dillon. 38th is Dave Six. 39th is Jimmy Johnson. And 40th is Bubba Wallace. Yeah, so we had 2 less cars than what we would usually have this weekend. This is because this field is or this track, I should say, it doesn't have the longest pit road in the world. In fact, we did some stuff here on this pit road before this race to just see how many pit boxes we could fit, and we pretty much maxed it out. We cannot fit any more than 40 pit boxes on this pit road here at Winton Motor Raceway anymore, when cars are going to wind up driving on the grass, and well, we know that racing slicks and grass doesn't really mix too well. So, and the last thing we want is somebody, getting their tires covered in grass just because they had to pull on pit road for a pit stop. So, yeah, but we still have every single regular series driver. This is everyone that has made a start in every race in the season. Last 2 spots would usually be taken up by the 2 drivers that don't run every single race. And of course, that being said, those guys are going to be, well, not racing this weekend, but we still have 40 cars, so it's still a pretty sizable grid, and it should make for an interesting race. I am definitely looking forward to this one. I should say this is actually the first of 4 road races in the Australian stretch. I say Australian stretch. We're not going to be remaining entirely in Australia throughout this stretch, but we'll still be down under either way, so it doesn't really make too much of a difference, does it now? Anyway, so it's going to be quite interesting to see how these guys tackle the turns and twists of the Winton Motor Raceway. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Anyway, first of 4 road races. We're going to an oval, though, in this stretch. Only 1 oval, though. Australia is mostly road courses, though. Oops. Do apologize for that. My phone is just doing some things. I do apologize. First time for a notification on this channel. Of course, it had to happen at the beginning of a Skittles Cup Series race. Luckily, it wasn't actually during the race, though. Anyway, enough of that. Phone has been muted and tossed to the side. As we're about to go racing at Winton Motor Raceway, pace cars pulled off. Here is our pit road, and now everyone's just gonna pull onto the front straightaway. Well, I say pull onto the front straightaway. They're gonna just, you know the drill. Front straightaway. And yeah, here we are. Green flag will be coming in a moment, and green flag is now in the air for the BHP 350 at Winton Motor Raceway. Feels off to a bit of a mess, but that's kind of the norm of road courses. Kyle Larson already going on to a side-by-side battle. Kyle Larson actually going to the bit of the grass. I know I said earlier that tires and grass, or slick tires and grass, don't mix very well, but it seems drivers are doing it anyway. It's all going all the way to the inside lane, but Kyle Larson pulling away as Donald goes quite a bit to the edge of the track, but Kyle Larson is ultimately going to pull away with the lead for the time being. Meanwhile, a bit of a side-by-side battle between Bang Coaches and Kurt Busch. Bang Coaches hasn't had the best of seasons so far. He is now trying to really improve it. And now a side-by-side battle with Kurt Busch, and Bang Coaches trying to pull away from Kurt Busch, but Kurt Busch is not giving up. Kurt Busch is going to do the crossover move going to this corner over here. Kurt Busch not giving in. And they are still side by side, but Bang Coaches might have the advantage here through this corner, or this double corner complex type thingy. Although, ooh, Bang Coaches, I think he's got the advantage though. And yeah, it looks like Bang Coaches has successfully taken the pass on Kurt Busch. It's a pretty crazy opening lap here at Winton Motor Raceway, but ultimately Kyle Larson is now starting to pull away from this pack. And Kyle Larson is likely going to lead the opening lap here at Winton Motor Raceway. Yes, he will. So Kyle Larson leading the opening lap here, Winton Motor Raceway. A couple cars actually on pit road. I say a couple cars, only one car. Seems like Rebecca's on pit road. Then again, with that chaotic race opening, you know. Oh, Kyle Larson's off the track. He overshoots the corner and is into the grass. Doesn't look like it made much difference though. Although he does lose a bit of ground, or a little bit of a lead on Donald. But Kyle Larson. Then again, this is a new course for all these drivers, so we probably should expect that. But yeah, Kyle Larson, that came as a bit of a surprise though. Kyle Larson overshoots the corner and runs into the grass. Not something you want to do from first though, but you know, new track. So Kyle Larson, he's definitely, you know, doing his best, of course, like he usually does. He's not going to lose the lead too much though, so I'll give him that. Now it feels most single file here. Go a bit further back. Bracer now in a bit of a battle with Denny Hamlin here. This corner. Ultimately though, not actually Bracer losing out on a bit of ground on Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin started to chase down Froito Bobbin. Froito Bobbin hasn't had the best season this year, trying to, you know, do well. And pace car has come out. Caution has come out at Calder Park. Excuse me. Winton Motor Raceway. I don't know why I said Calder Park. We will be going to Calder though. In this stretch, I should mention. But no, this is Winton. Same country, same state actually as well. Calder Park and Winton Motor Raceway, both in Melbourne, Australia. But we're starting here at Calder Park Raceway. But caution has come out at Winton Motor Raceway. I'm not sure why I'm thinking of Calder Park for some reason. I mean, we will be going to Calder Park in a couple races, but if I said Calder Park where I should have said Winton, I do apologize. But anyway, caution has come out at Winton Motor Raceway. So let's actually rewind time and actually see what happened to bring out this caution. I'm not surprised there was a caution considering the crazy start, or just the craziness that was happening all around here at Winton Motor Raceway. So the caution looks like it was out for quite a bit before the field got around. So it must have happened earlier in the lap. Okay, let's run for quite a long time. Okay, there we go. Okay. Alright, let's come out here. So let's see what happened to bring out this caution. Someone must have gone around it somewhere. I don't see it though. Yeah. I mean, there were some guys going off track, but nothing. No one spun around. Okay, maybe someone did though a bit, because Matt DiBenedetto actually got really slow. Oh yeah, it was Matt DiBenedetto. Okay, so Matt DiBenedetto ultimately the cause of this caution. So he just, he can't quite. Oh, I see. So he misjudged the corner ultimately. Missed it, and Alex Bowman also getting into a bit of a close shave with these guys. So Rebecca already on pit road actually, she must have suffered some damage from the start of the race. Now again, with how insane this field has been in this race, you know, it's no wonder there's a caution. Anyway, caution number 1 of the day at Winton. Feels going to be single fall on the restart, of course. So feels going to be a bit more strung out when we eventually get to the restart, but you know. Any changes in pit road, however. Only see oh yeah, the entire field is coming down well, most field anyway. Alright, so drivers have to navigate this pit road for the first time. Some of them actually going into the grass a bit. Oh, a couple guys staying out though. Rick's Box 30 staying on the track. Might be a bit of a bold maneuver, but he's gonna give it a try anyway. Yeah, Rick's Box 30 might be the only taker to stay on the track though. Alright, so this pit road's a little bit cramped, so it's gonna be interesting to see how these drivers navigate it. Oh yeah, a couple of scraping. Oh yeah, there we go. Douglas actually got. Oh. Yeah, pretty cramped road here at Winton Motor Raceway. Douglas actually made a bit of damage, and oh dearie me, quite a lot of stuff going on here on this pit lane. So it's quite a crowded pit lane here at Winton. Rebecca has now come out. Actually, a couple guys stayed out, so you got Rick Bucksnard, Clint Boyer, and Jimmy Johnson also stayed out in that caution. But there's a pretty cramped pit road, so some drivers gonna have some damage here. Hopefully it's not too big though. I think Douglas actually got the worst of the damage. No one else got damage that's really too severe or any noticeable damage at all, actually. Yep. Alright, well in a moment we'll line them up and go again. So the real Xbox 3 actually going to be on the point for this restart. So let's skip to the restart point. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, that's weird. So the pace car doesn't pull off. Okay, I guess we're going to race around the pace car, so that's strange. Okay, so I guess everyone's going to race around the pace car. So with that being said, the real Xbox are going to lead them off. And okay, any moment now. And green flag is in the air once again at Winton Motor Raceway. Jimmy Johnson actually did quite the maneuver on Clint Boyer. Jimmy Johnson's going to try to take on Clint Boyer going to the first corner here. And now it's a side-by-side battle for second. Jimmy Johnson, who's running off season over Xbox, turn over, runs the corner, and so does Jimmy Johnson. That's going to give Clint Boyer the edge here, as he's now side-by-side with Rebecca, who's a lap down actually. Rebecca trying to get her lap back. Meanwhile, Clint Boyer trying to keep up with the real Xbox nerd, who is now leader in this race. Xbox nerd still yet to win a race in this season. I think that'll mess up again. Wow. Anyway, so the real Xbox nerd, your leader now at Winton. Meanwhile, Clint Boyer trying to become a repeat winner, the third repeat winner in the season. As you know, Tyler Reddick, he just became this series' second repeat winner after his big win last weekend at the Daytona 500. Anyway, so the real Xbox nerd, yeah, he's runs a bit wide, but one of these road courses, though, you really want to go as wide as you possibly can. And the real Xbox nerd hasn't won a race yet this season, trying to do it for the first time. I think we stay green this time by. Yeah, pace car's still rolling around the track for some reason, but anyway, yeah, so we're still racing. Alrighty then. Oh, Rick's Western overruns the first corner again. I don't know what's up with that first corner, but it seems a bit tricky for these guys. You know, Clint Boyer trying to keep up with him. As either the two guys that actually stayed out, so they have slightly older tires than the rest of the field. This may or may not help them out later on. Although YouTube Motorsports is still yet to visit Victory Lane this season, we're 16 races in. So the real Xbox nerd trying to become the first of the YouTube Motorsports drivers to win a race this season. So Winton Raceway, quite the lengthy track, I will say. It's quite an interesting one. Right, so pace cars made it back to pit road. So meanwhile, you have Rebecca up here who had a bit of a actually a lot of guys over in turn one. What is up with the drivers in turn one? Jimmy Johnson, he's actually gonna lose a spot to Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson had to lead up until the caution. Ooh, the side-by-side battle. Yep, side-by-side battle is underway as Jimmy Johnson, ooh, he's skidding a bit. And Kyle Larson, as Kyle Larson successfully makes the pass on Jimmy Johnson. All because Jimmy Johnson run the corner. Man. As for leaders, though, they're just doing their own thing, so the Rick Sports Nerd continuing to pull away and lead laps. Meanwhile, you have Rebecca, who is happens to be in 39th right now. I think someone must have blown up or something. But Rebecca back at 39th. So she is a lap down car, but if she can somehow make a pass on the top two, she could get her lap back. Seems pretty hard to pass here at Winton, though. So speaking of lap traffic, I wonder if we'll come up with some slow cars. Looks like Nerd once again misses the first corner. A decent number of these guys actually missing the first corner. I mean second corner, not first corner. Yeah, second corner would be quite difficult. Drivers, for some reason, thinking that it's faster to take the grass. Yeah, remember what I said about drivers not wanting to take the grass? That was a lie. Maybe really could have fit 2 more pit boxes. Oh well. This happens, although this is our first abroad race of the season, so the small team's probably not wanting to spend too big of money having to ship all their equipment, you know. Because now we're a long way from home. Like, all these teams are now quite a long ways from their home base. At least for the Skittles Cup Series. There might be a team in the same as Nashers, but that might actually feel quite at home here in Australia. Yes, Team Nashers will be racing in Australia next week, actually. But for this week, it's all the Skittles Cup Series. It's once again, they overrun the first corner. Although Clint Boyer, he actually navigated that corner better than the Xbox and actually gained a little bit of ground. Meanwhile, Rebecca, she's actually getting caught up by Kyle Larson. So Kyle Larson doing everything in his power to overtake these guys and gals and challenge for the lead once again. Yeah, Kyle Larson looks like he had a slightly better line than Rebecca into that corner. Yeah, Rebecca once again went a little bit wide. Well, it seems the passing is done at the second corner. That's just because drivers keep overrunning that corner. Looks like Sundover doing a pretty good job as of right now keeping this lead. He's led every lap since the restart. How many more will he lead? Nothing worth mentioning. We're likely going to have green flag pit stops in a little bit. Now that being said, we did just have pit stops, so we'll have to see how long until more pit stops are taken. As the top guys once again override the second corner. We're doing, however, doing pretty good at keeping this lead. Now, if he could just extract enough of his car, he could ultimately win this race. Although it is quite early to decide that. Yeah, we still have quite a few laps to go in this race, so anything can happen between now and the finish. They can't predict auto racing. Xbox, though, he's been quite fast recently, you know, or at least, you know, to give him credit, he did make the Super Bowl shootout back at Daytona. All pit stops are occurring. Xbox Nerd pulls on the pit road. He's gonna cycle to Clint Boyer, who's gonna lead his first lap of the day. And actually, with quite a few less drivers on pit road, should make for less, you know, accidents. As Clint Boyer overruns the second corner, and Kyle Larson again, he now has a clear run on Rebecca. These two are in a bit of a battle, although Rebecca no reason to battle. She's a lap down, but still trying to keep up. The battle is now on between Kyle Larson and Rebecca for a quote-unquote position. Yeah, Rebecca, though, not giving in. She may be a lap down, but that doesn't mean she's gonna not go down without a fight. I think a couple of these Solos drivers missed the Daytona 500 match. I forget which ones it was, but I think Rebecca missed the 500. I don't know. It was a while ago that I recorded the 500, by the way. Rebecca might succeed Kyle Larson here. Yes, sir. Meanwhile, Clint Boyer's pulled out to quite a gap. And he comes on the pit road this time by. Rebecca stays out, and Kyle Larson does as well. So Kyle Larson's going to cycle the first this time by. Meanwhile, Rebecca, who actually has now unlapped herself with the result of those other guys going pit road. And meanwhile, Donald though overtakes Kyle Larson. As Kyle Larson overshoots the first corner, and Donald, now the leader, although he's got his Solis Motorsports affiliate teammate Rebecca in front of him, who's a lap down. Meanwhile, Kyle Larson isn't going down without a fight. Bring about first between these two guys. And Kyle Larson trying to stick his nose underneath Donald the best he can. Goes a little bit deeper into this corner, but not deep enough. Oh, Kyle Larson, he sent it. But again, wasn't close enough. This is the best this Chip Ganassi 42 has looked this season. How long until some of these guys pit, though? It might be in this time by. No, not yet. Donald and Kyle Larson staying out this lap. You know, Rebecca, who actually has now unlapped herself. So if we were to get another caution, Rebecca would be at the end of the longest line, or end of the line in general. On the lead lap, though. So Rebecca could move up a few spots and better her position. That being said, however, she's still in a very vulnerable spot to be overtaken and put back a lap down. You know, a little bit further back, Bank Coach is right now hanging back out here in third. Bank Coach, another YouTube Pooper Motorsports driver, still searching for their first win. In general, both the YouTube Poopers still searching for some kind of success in the season. I mean, they're in 20s as far as the point standings, which is pretty far below Frank DeBalma's expectations. Remember, YouTube Motorsports is a team that is affiliated with Frank DeBalma. So, anyway, pit stops occurring. Donald Peru and same for Rebecca. However, Kyle Larson staying out. Might be the only driver that stays out, though. It looks like a number of other drivers coming in. A couple guys staying out, though. But as of right now, we're going to see a pretty busy pit road. Some drivers staying out, but very few. Alright, so hopefully things are a little bit less chaotic this time. As green flag pit stops are underway for the first time today. Oh. Bit of a scrape though as Kevin Harvick hits the side of Denny Hamlin going to his pit stall. As for top drives, however, no bumps at all. They are back out onto the track. Meanwhile, it's kicked up with Kyle Larson, who as of right now is being scored for first, but he will have to come down pit road soon. All this could be a strategy from Kyle Larson. Maybe he doesn't want to come on the pit road while everyone else does. And it seems that Christopher Bell and William Barron are on the same strategy as well. We'll see how it works out for these guys once they come on the pit road, which will likely be this time by. Yep, this time by. Here comes Kyle Larson. And Christopher Bell and William Barron are likely to follow. Some grass time for these guys. You know, maybe putting in those last two pit boxes might have been a better idea than I thought. Yeah, never mind. Anyway, Kyle Larson on pit road. See where he comes out. Alright. See how fast this pit stop is. I hear the other guy's coming though. And Kyle Larson, he's back on track. He did lose a couple spots, however. Not a ton, but a decent amount. Where's the leader, actually? I guess this thing is update. Anyway, so Rick's presented now here. I think. Meanwhile, whoever is being scored first is a little bit unknown at the moment, it seems. Jimmy Johnson actually in the top 5. But let's see where the field cycles out. But I think the Real Sports is now taking back the lead. But he's now in a bit of a battle with Clint Boyer. But we will likely see green flag pit stops later in the race again. And the rest are going to lead this lap. Yeah. First nerd out to first. Clint Boyer second. And Jimmy Johnson into third. Won't be in third for much long if he keeps overshooting the corner. Well, looks like the battle for lead is on between the Real Xbox Center and Clint Boyer. So if the Real Xbox Center is yet to find victory this season, Clint Boyer, however, has found victory. His victory came a bit of a while ago now at the Pensacola Super Speedway. So Boyer trying to become the third repeat winner in the season. It would actually be 2 in a row for repeat winners. You know, with Tyler Reddick winning last week at Daytona, Daytona 500, and Boyer now winning. That'd be a win for Boyer at a super speedway and a short track. I mean, at a road course. No, it was Reddick who won a short track and a super speedway. Anyways. At the moment, though, Rick's Mercedes looked fast in this race. He actually said his fastest lap time of the race. Of 1 minute 23. .972. Pretty good. That's quite a bit of distance amongst the field. You have the Rick's Mercedes and Clint Boyer, who are 3 seconds ahead of Jimmy Johnson, who's quite a few seconds ahead of Kyle Larson, who's about a second ahead of Donald, who's a second ahead of the rest of the pack. Yeah, quite a spread out mess here at Winton. Yeah. Safe to say that things have been quite interesting in this race. Speaking of interesting, lap car could potentially change the outcome of this race, or at least for now. And it's still pretty early in the race. But Kurt Busch could mess with the lead here. As Willis Busch leads the race for now, but Clint Boyer could use Kurt Busch as a pick. I mean, if Kurt Busch, he was actually, I think he was leading early in the race when Willis was up here. Not sure what happened to him though. Must have been some pit road stuff. Kurt Busch's actually looking pretty slow. So let's see how long it takes for the leaders to get around him. Because it seems the battle is on now between first and second. Unless Jimmy Johnson can keep up with these guys. Ooh, quite a bit of a battle now. As Rick Stewart makes the overtake on Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch though trying to keep up with him. And now Clint Boyer, he's going to have the same challenge to face. Clint Boyer as well having to overtake Kurt Busch. I will say though, this has been the most dominant performance we've seen from the Real Xbox Nerd in this season. 16 races in and the Real Xbox Nerd comes to life at a road course race that takes place just after the Daytona 500. It's quite something. You know, back here, man, Clint Boyer is still trying to get around Kurt Busch. He's actually held up at this point. I was going to send it going to this corner here. Clint Boyer successfully overtakes Kurt Busch for that spot, but Clint Boyer lost a bit of time from the Real Xbox Nerd. Time he's going to have to spend the rest of this race making up now. 2 seconds back. Oh dear. Man, yeah, Boyer lost a lot of time being stuck behind Kurt Busch. And Kurt Busch still trying to get past him. Oh man. Clint Boyer just got past Kurt Busch. Now he's got to pass him again. Wow. Man, Kurt Busch. He's a lap down car, but he's trying to put up as big of a fight as Rebecca, who isn't too far back either. Clint Boyer once again succeeds Kurt Busch. But the Real Xbox Nerd is a long way ahead. Meanwhile, Jimmy Johnson, he's actually caught up. Jimmy Johnson, this is the best performance we've seen from him this season. Quite a lot of stuff going on. As Real Xbox Nerd continues to pull away. So the Real Xbox Nerd, he's quite a bit of a ways outside the playoff bubble. That being said, the Real Xbox Nerd still has quite a while to go to make the playoffs as he pulls onto pit road. Green flag pit stops taking place once again. As a result in Clint Boyer cycling out to the lead. This could change the race. As Jimmy Johnson now makes his way around Kurt Busch. Jimmy Johnson doing everything he can to do well in this race, as Rebecca also trying to get a piece of the action here. So Jimmy Johnson, a bit of a fight with a couple of lap down cars. That being said, however, this is a battle for position between Rebecca and Kurt Busch, as these two are now fighting for 38th, which doesn't sound like much, but it could be an extra championship point here. Again, it's not much, but it could be something. So Rebecca actually now in a bit of a battle with Kurt Busch. It's not really a battle, but it's something. Meanwhile, Clint Boyer continues to pull ahead, as Jimmy Johnson trying to stick with him. Oh, now there's a couple lap down cars between Jimmy Johnson and Kurt Busch, as Rebecca trying to have her own little battle with Kurt Busch. Alright, so here comes this time. We'll see who comes into pit road. No pit road for Clint Boyer. Oh, Jimmy Johnson is pulling up pit road. See how that works out. So Clint Boyer staying on another lap. So we've had no cautions since the one at the start of the race, which is pretty good. Although, will we have another caution, or will we go green all the way to the end? Only time will tell. Yeah, it's Clint Boyer pretty much just navigating his way around this track. Really hasn't much else to do. Oh, let's lap duck our Preserp, but Preserp a bit of a distance away from Clint Boyer, so as long as Boyer pits soon, doesn't really have that much of a problem. You know, I think these two probably just navigate the track as well, trying to just make their way around here and make a pit stop. Okay, so Clint Boyer, like you're gonna pit this time by? Yes, sir. Clint Boyer onto pit road. Still anyone's game, though. Unless the Billy Sports Nerd can once again be there in front once pit stop cycle through. Although Clint Boyer, one of the few drivers to come on the pit road this time by, actually. That means Lee's gonna cycle back to Kyle Larson. And now Rebecca has actually gone around, or no, Rebecca trying to battle with Kurt Busch. It's now the battle of the back markers. And actually both Chip Ganassi drivers are now in a bit of a fight with each other now. Yeah, first time we've seen Chip Ganassi racing together, although it's a bit of a weird case because they have Kyle Larson who's actually leading the race, and they have Kurt Busch who's back in 39th. Meanwhile, Rebecca, who has now successfully passed Kurt Busch, that's going to give her an extra point. But Kyle Larson does now cycle back to the lead in this race. Yeah, I don't think Kyle Larson expects to be putting his own teammate a lap down, but yeah, Kurt Busch has been really slow today, whereas Kyle Larson, he's been fast. Can he be fast enough, though? It's definitely going to be interesting to see how these strategies turn out. You know, Kyle Larson actually scored his one and only victory last season at Watkins Glen. That was a road course. Could Kyle Larson score his first victory of the season at yet another road course? Still a road course, except happens to be in a completely different part of the world. Meanwhile, a bit of a battle back here is now Bank Coaches and Donald now trying to get around Kurt Busch. Quite a few of these guys are actually with each other now, battling. Tim Tom as well. Tim Tom has had an abysmal season. He's actually running pretty well today. NROL as well. But Bank Coaches, You know, if Wilson can cycle back to the lead, it's gonna be a good day all around for both the YouTube Motorsports drivers. That's what Toronto Motorsports guys, however, they haven't done much of a showing. I mean, yeah, Russell Davis is now in the top 10, but that's because of pit cycles. And Floyd Bobbin is just, who knows where he is. Anyway, drivers likely going to pit this time by. No, another stay out lap for Kyle Larson. You know, Larson might actually be playing a strategy here, trying to stay out as long as he can, so he only has to make one more pit stop, and then he can race his way all the way to the checkered flag. So Kyle Larson trying to be on pace to win his first race of the season, as he overshoots the second corner again. Yeah. So Kyle Larson, once again, like I said, on pace to get his first win of the season. Still a bit to go, though. I still have a decent amount of laps left in this race, so it's only one's race. Meanwhile, Christopher Bell, actually the next driver in position, he's 5 seconds back from Christopher Bell. Kyle Larson. Christopher Bell, this is the best he's looked since his win at Willow Springs, oddly enough. So Bell, his only win of the season came in the season opener at Willow Springs. This being a road course, however. Maybe this suits Christopher Bell's driving style as Kyle Larson pulls onto pit road. Alright. So Kyle Larson has stretched his run out as long as he can. So I think, providing there isn't a caution, this could be Kyle Larson's final pit stop of the day. That might actually be a bit of a mistake on the Real Xbox Nerd's part, because the Real Xbox Nerd, he came in quite a few laps ago now to this point. So, if the Real Xbox Nerd, if he can't stretch his car out enough, and he has to pit one more time, that's going to hand the race over to Kyle Larson. He is, however, passing by. So I'm not quite sure who the leader is now, but I suspect it might just be the Real Xbox Nerd. So this he pitted quite a few laps ago now, I think about 5 or so laps ago. So the Real Xbox Nerd might just have it made. But that is unless he can stretch his car out as long as he can. Because here's the thing, if he has to pit one more time, then that's it for him. And Clint Boyer too, he's actually on the same strategy as the Real Xbox Nerd. So Boyer, another driver who is trying to stretch his car as much as he can, but it's an effort that is might go to waste. And Jimmy Johnson as well. Quite a few varying strategies in this race. So it's going to be interesting to see who takes it all in the end. So those are being scored for first with Clint Boyer in second. So now the race has come down to whatever these two do for the remainder of the race, or if they can stay out long enough. Because Kyle Larson likely has just made his final pit stop of the day. But as for the top three, do they have to make one more pit stop, or can they stay out until the checkered flag? It's going to be interesting to see. Yeah. So we're just gonna have to wait and see, though. I will say that we haven't seen that much passing for the lead, though. I mean, it is pretty hard to pass here. And these drivers are quite new to this circuit. Anyway, Clamborio trying to spice things up a bit and overtake the Race Nerd, but the question though is, can Clamborio even catch up to the Race Nerd, or is the Race Nerd just too powerful? So Race Nerd now has two questions for him. Can he stay on to the checkered flag, and can he hold off Clamborio? Those are the two things against him in this race now. As for what we'll see, I just don't know. I'd quite like to know what the wear is like on this one of tires. Unfortunately, though, we don't quite have that data. So I can't tell you how much wear is on the Real Nerd's tires. So, at this point, this race depends on how much car does the Real Nerd have left, and, you know, I don't think Boyer might be much of a threat. We'll see what the distance is like. Clamboyer closed the gap there by 0.3 of a second. So Clamboyer trying to close the gap on the Real Xbox Nerd. We have about 5 laps to go. 5 or 6, I can't quite count. I will say the majority of this race hasn't been the most interesting one ever, but now it's come to a point where things are going to get very interesting. Yeah, Clamboyer's getting closer and closer to the back end of the Real Xbox Nerd. Clamboyer looking for that second victory. Man, he's getting closer and closer to the Real Xbox Nerd. How long until Boyer eventually pounces? And the Real Xbox Nerd pits! The Real Xbox Nerd is pitted! He is pitting! That's it! The Real Xbox Nerd has made his pit stop. That might be the deciding factor. As Clamboyer stays out this time by, does Clamboyer have enough car left? It's going to be interesting to see. Clamboyer a long way out in front. He's got a 10-second gap on Kyle Larson. Theoretically, could stay out the rest of this run and still possibly win. But we're going to have to see how that turns out. But the Real Xbox Nerd has made his pit stop. Granted, he comes out on track pretty quickly, although he's lost some spots. Well, I say quickly, that might have been a bit of a false statement. Meanwhile, Clamboyer now has a 10-second gap over Kyle Larson. Although I think Clamboyer is pitting now. Wow. So their pit strategy didn't quite work and they do not have enough car remaining. And now as Kyle Larson comes to the final corner, Kyle Larson is going to take the lead at Winton Motor Raceway. That might just be the ticket for Kyle Larson to win this race, as he now overtakes Purserp in a lap down car. Although now he has to face off Donald, who's now trying to get him on Purserp. Alright, looks like it's come down to a battle for the lead. These two drivers. Donald now looks like behind Percy Serp. So Donald, he's gonna have to get his way around, make his way around Percy Serp as quickly as he can before it's too late. So only got 4 laps left. He needs to pounce now. Ah man, misfortune for Donald getting stuck by Percy Serp. Unless he can get around him. Donald might just be able to... he's going to have to send to the corner at one of these corners. Man, if he can't get there in time, Kyle Larson hasn't made. It's going to be Kyle Larson first win of the season. Donald is going to send it on Percival going to this corner. Percival, though, shuts the door on him. What is this? Sabotage? Percival trying to ruin his own teammate. Teammate-in-law, technically. Man, the Fat Controller is going to be happy about this one. Man, the Fat Controller, he's going to be furious here about this one. He hears one of his drivers holding up another one of his drivers from winning the race. Donald finally gets around Percival, but he's got 3 laps left to catch up to Kyle Larson. He's now 2 seconds back. Oh, man. Oh, Kyle Larson overruns the second corner. So does Donald, though. Man, the Fat Controller is going to be pretty upset about that one. And Percival still trying to screw over Donald for some reason. What is this? Man, these two must have had some kind of ruckus back on the island of Solwas. Because you have Donald, or you have Percival trying to screw over his own teammate, technically, for winning this race. Man, oh man. That's the last thing you want to see. Teammates hold each other up for the win. And that has let Kyle Larson build a gap on Donald. Kyle Larson, all he has to do now is cruise to victory lane. Just not make any more mistakes in the next 2.5 laps, and Kyle Larson hasn't made. So Kyle Larson has been on front for most of this race. Has managed to outlast the race winner, Clint Boyer and Jimmy Johnson. And as a result, Kyle Larson in a very good position to take the victory in this race. 2 laps to go. Man, I don't think Donald has anything else for him. Donald really got ruined by Percival slowing up. He's actually losing a couple more seconds on Kyle Larson. Second corner is tricky. Kyle Larson, once again, he runs to the grass. And Donald, however, does the same. I think that is it. All Kyle Larson has to do now is cruise to victory lane. 2 more laps. And Kyle Larson will score the win in the first race in the Australian swing. Quite the turn of events in this one. I will say, while there hasn't been much passing, there has been some strategy. It looked like the real Xbox nerd was finally going to seal the deal in this race. But nope, not today. Instead, however, it looks like it's going to go to the young Chip Ganassi driver of Kyle Larson. And also, he happens to be driving the McDonald's car. McDonald's has not won a race in a very long time. And for quite a while, Kyle Larson and others have been trying to break the McDonald's curse. But the curse might be broken today. With 1 more lap to go, and Winton Motor Raceway, Kyle Larson driving a McDonald's-sponsored car, trying to break the McCurse. The McCurse that has been haunting drivers for a very long time. But Kyle Larson just has 1 more lap. 1 more perfect lap is all Kyle Larson needs now. Quite the turn of events. From strategy, to passing, to teammates holding each other up. It's come down to this. So Donald, who had Kyle Larson in front of him, has now lost out after getting held up by his own teammate. Yep, Kyle Larson just navigates his way around the rest of these turns. He really doesn't need to put Much more effort now. 2 more turns for Kyle Larson. Finish line though is in sight. And here comes Kyle Larson. He's gonna come to the stripe. And Kyle Larson, off of the final corner, Kyle Larson will win the BHP 350 at Winton Motor Raceway. And will break the McCurse that has cursed drivers for many years. Kyle Larson has broken the curse with a win at Winton Motor Raceway. And it's back to victory lane for Chip Ganassi Racing. How about that? So Kyle Larson, who really hasn't had the best season, we'll see where his season goes from here. But regardless of what happens, or what has happened past or future, Kyle Larson at least now can live in the present with his win today. So that was quite the race. Not much. We didn't really see much passing for the lead. There's not much passing on the racetrack anyway. Most of the passing was done on pit road, but either way, it's come down to this. Well, I guess we'll just give you your figures. So Kyle Larson with the win today, along with Donald second, Cristobal third, Eric Gumroll in fourth, Denny Hamlin in fifth, William Barr in sixth, Ryan Blaney in seventh, Eric Jones in eighth, Cole Cuss in ninth, Brad Gonzalez 10th, Russell David 11th, Bank Kogi 12th, Grisham 13th, Daniel 6th, 14th, Ricky Stones Jr. 15th, Tim Tom 16th, Oliver 17th, Nia 18th, Julie Gone 19th, Clint Boyd 20th, Kyle Busch 21st, Chase Sully 22nd, Williams Bernard 23rd, Alex Bowman 24th, Austin Dillon 25th, Ryan Priest 26th, Doug 27th, Floyd Bobbin 28th, Mark Stewart 29th, Chris Busch 30th, Ryan Newman 31st, Bo Walsh 32nd, Kevin Harvick 33rd, Jimmy Johnson 34th, Tyler Beck 35th, Matthew Bendell 36th, Perry Sip 37th, Kurt Busch 38th, Rebecca 39th, and Douglas with the last place finish. Well, they said it was still an interesting race. I'll give it that. It wasn't the most exciting race in the world, but I feel like it has been at least interesting enough to provide a show for the people of Australia. However, this is only the start of the Australian stretch. It's going to be interesting to see where things go next week. But that is all for today. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in whatever I make next.